I always like the word symptom of meditation because so often one is looking for some kind of validation of their meditation, that they will feel something, experience something. Although feelings and experiences may come in your meditation, but they don't really indicate anything. They're just passing experiences. And just as we experience anything through the senses and through the mind, which are the lenses by which we know anything, and the various faculties of thinking, higher thinking. So if we are evaluating meditation through the mechanisms, then we are going to be always chasing an experience. And also, as we know, in experiencing, there's always the potential for doubt. You experience, and oh, that was a great meditation. But really, how does that really help you to have an experience? Or maybe on the opposite also, oh, that meditation, I was extremely restless, or I was very distracted, or I was having some negative thoughts. When you look a little closer and you can really see, well, because we know the nature of experience is always changing, thereby, because of its changing nature of the experiences, there's always room for doubt. How can you be secure in knowing something if experiences always have a contradictory experience? I don't remember much from my years growing up in the Christian church, but a few things did stay with me. According to what I remember from Bible studies when I was younger, Jesus said, build your house on rock. Don't build it on sand. And I remembered that once I started meditating. And I felt, at least in my own interpretation of this parable, what is sand? Always shifting. There's no solid ground on sand. Every time you go to the beach, it has a different landscape. The wind shapes it. So the winds, which is the things we experience, are always shifting. One day you feel like this, one day like that. If someone praises you, you feel a certain way. Someone criticizes you, you feel the opposite. If someone makes you feel easy, you like their company, but the next day, maybe they don't reflect that same feeling. Now you feel differently in their company. That's confusing. So the whole experience of the human mind, which is the whole field like sand, shifting, changing, because it is the vehicle of registering experiences. And it tells stories about those experiences. It's always experiencing and adding stories to it. And those stories also keep changing too. So I think what Jesus was saying when he said, build your house on rock, is what is your house? Not your physical home. A home is what you call yours, where you feel secure. So even though you like to travel or visit other places, you always feel when you get home, it's that feeling like, I'm home. I don't have to be guarded anymore. I don't have to be careful anymore. I don't have to be thinking what to do next. I'm home. It's a feeling of just being yourself. And that's also very nice too, because people want to have people living in their house with whom they are familiar. Family doesn't necessarily only mean blood family. But family means those that you feel familiar with. So those that you don't have to put up your mask. You don't have to put on your face. You don't have to put on your pretenses. You don't have to put on your anything. It is like being naked. To be familiar is you take all those things off and you are familiar. You are at home. So if you build your home, your sense of being yourself unmasked on rock, it is saying build it on the unchanging. So this, as meditators, leads us to ask the question, well, what is that which is unchanging? Changing we certainly know. Changing we are very, very familiar with. This body and everything that the body sees and perceives, everything the body experiences is certainly changing. Day changes to night, night changes to day. Sunny days change to rainy days stop and again become sunny. Absolutely everything we experience is changing. So knowing that, we are led to the satsang to ask a very simple question. What is that which is unchanging? Where is my rock? Where is my security? Where is that where I can lay down my defenses? Where is that where I don't have to explain myself, impress someone, or guard myself against someone? That I can just be familiar, at ease, and be myself. Because this is not so obvious, what is the unchanging? It is not like you can go to a shop and you look on the shelf and you say, well, this is the shelf where you see everything changing. Where's the shop attendant? I need to ask her, where is that shelf where you find the unchanging? Because the unchanging is not an object. Everything that is of changing, even if it is just changing thoughts and feelings and ideas, is still described as being an object, because there's a you as the subject to know the object. You know the changing. So now how to discover the unchanging is to start bringing into your examination, what does this subject mean? What is this you, or what I describe myself as I? When I say I see the changing objects, the changing feelings, we bring into our focus, what is this I? And because it is not an object, it is not easily recognizable at first, because there is no separate subject to know the subject. It is the subject knowing itself. But because the mind is only able to know in subject-object, me knowing something, me perceiving something, me feeling something, it's only able to do that work. So this is exactly what is meditation. Don't use that tool, that instrument. Don't use those means to know yourself. And you know, it seems simple just for me to say it, but you have to really see it in yourself. Look how I am always trying to find home, always trying to find ease upon this basis, which is like sand, subject and object. And of course, the changing relation between the two. There's always a me knowing something. And you have to really examine your own patterns that you can observe from inside to know where not to build your house. That's the first instruction. Jesus should have said, first, don't build your house on sand, then build your house on rock. So we have to know what is the sand and what is the rock. Otherwise, how will you know where to build your house? How will you know how to find yourself unchanging, ever present, and thereby free from the insecurity, the worries and fears and all kinds of behaviors that we act out upon this uncertainty? So I said to Maria, when she described herself these days and what she's watching in herself, I said, this is now the symptom of your meditation practice. This is the result of your meditation practice. Because meditation cannot find your home as an object. But every time we're meditating, we are tuning in to our true home. We are standing in our home in the meditation. Consciousness that is always searching outside of itself. I haven't got it. You can't get it. You are it. That's the big shift. And in meditation, to sit, not trying to get it. Let's close our eyes and we'll just take 10 minutes together. You don't get meditation. You don't get enlightenment. You don't get freedom. You sit and observe the nature of the thinking mind that is seeking for itself by getting something. And yes, all of us who have come to satsang are already quite well aware that we're not seeking money for happiness, although we need money. We're not seeking relations to help us or to love us in order to find ourselves at peace, although we have relations. So we're already at a state where we're not looking in the changing things, but we are not certain as to what is the unchanging home that I am. Not that I have, not that I have experienced, but that I am. What is the home that I am? You cannot see it because seeing sees an object. You cannot think of it because thinking needs an object. You cannot feel it for feeling needs an experience. And then there's you and the experience. Meditation is bringing the attention back to you at home. No mask, no pretense, no story, no knowing nor not knowing. No label, no struggle. Simply being yourself. Thoughts will continue in the thinking mind. We are not distracted by them. They become quite insignificant. And because we are not distracted, we don't engage at all trying to stop them. Because the more you engage, even to stop them, the more entangled you become. So let the thoughts come. They pass. And you notice their changing nature. How do you notice their changing nature? Because you must be there to know. You must be there as pure being, pure knower. Take a little time in our own silent practice, not trying to get, not trying to know, but be self. There can be no more. It is complete and full as yourself. It is the state of pure being. And thoughts will be confused about this state. Doesn't matter. Let them be confused and you stay here. Don't look to answer that confusion. Are you not present? I am. Don't try and grasp it. Just be very sensitively aware. I am. And that I am is not changing with the changing thoughts, with the changing impressions, with the changing experiences. I am unchanging, ever present. If you can afford to take these 20 minutes in your day to sit as yourself, pure I am, and then rather than finding yourself in an obvious way, like we find an apple that has fallen from a tree, but what we start to quite naturally observe is that things that used to drive us out of ourselves, or things that covered ourself and kept ourselves hidden from ourselves, they start to drop away. The need to be constantly chasing the changing. Now we just sit still. The chasing is over. The grasping to get it is over. And we show the symptoms of being more at peace. And we practice being at peace with the changing, shifting mind as it is. We don't look there or expect anything from there to bring us home. Just take 2 minutes more. There's a beautiful being who lived in our lifetime, passed away only a few years ago, a Vietnamese monk. His name was Thich Nhat Hanh, and he would repeat the mantra, in English at least, as he translated it from his own language. I have arrived. I am home. I have arrived. I am home. When you are at home, the need to get home is over. You have arrived in the realization of your true self. Pure I am. And so you are home. All struggle is released when you are at home. And being at home on the rock of I am, which is the unchanging existence of everything, it is even more secure than your physical home, more love than your relations and families. And in this love of self, pure I am, you love more purely, more honestly. And because you are not struggling to secure yourself on the changing sands, you also play and work and interact and create more beautifully. So just take these few minutes in your day and you will start recognizing the symptoms of being at home.
Want to listen to full-length audios including satsangs, meditation, yogic practices, and meditative music? Join the Wisdom Library, a growing, vibrant sanctuary of self-knowledge. This resource supports your meditation practice and inspires your mind and heart to live in the knowledge of your ever-free self. Subscribe monthly or annually at wisdomofmeditation.com.